what COVID-19 rules some local students could face when they return to the classroom. Plus, Freeman Hospital hosts a back-to-school vaccine clinic for eligible kids. And the latest on dangerous heat and wildfires across our nation's west coast.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The U.S. sees a 47% jump in average daily new COVID-19 cases compared to last week. This is KOAM News at 10. Many of the cases are in the southeast. As the push to get more Americans vaccinated continues, there's a new concern. The FDA has updated the label for Johnson & Johnson's coronavirus vaccine, warning of a possible slight rise in the risk of a rare neurological complication. Mandy Gaither has more.
As the Delta variant rapidly spreads throughout the U.S., some states are seeing new COVID-19 case rates climb. Among the hotspots, Florida, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, and Nevada.
Those 5 states are generating a third of the cases in the United States right now.
Last week, average COVID-19 case rates were about 3 times higher in states that have fully vaccinated less than half of their residents compared to states that have vaccinated more than half, according to data from Johns Hopkins University and the CDC.
In places like Missouri, where ICUs are packed, you're going to see a surprising amount of death.
But as U.S. health officials continue to push for more Americans to be vaccinated, the FDA is sending out a warning, updating the label for Johnson & Johnson's coronavirus vaccine, saying there may be an increased risk of a rare neurological condition called Guillain-Barré syndrome. The FDA said it's not yet clear if the vaccine causes the syndrome, but noted an increase in reports of it. It can cause muscle weakness and sometimes paralysis.
Even if it ends up being real, it's still fewer than 1 in a million vaccine doses that end up with this syndrome. And there are around 3,000 to 5,000 people that get Guillain-Barré syndrome every year with or without vaccines.
Health experts and the CDC stress that even if there's an increased risk, it's still better to be vaccinated against COVID-19.
That 1 in a million is so much smaller than the risk of catching COVID itself or getting really sick.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The FDA says there have been 12.8 million doses of Johnson & Johnson's coronavirus vaccine, with 100 preliminary reports of Guillain-Barré syndrome. Area school officials consider how they'll respond to CDC guidance for students returning to school this fall. Last week's guidance from the CDC falls in line with their previous advice for masking for vaccinated adults. It says that fully vaccinated students do not need to wear masks in classrooms. The Jasper County Health Department says how COVID cases and vaccination rates look closer to the school year will dictate how schools operate.
We have no way of knowing exactly what our case rate's going to be when school starts. I hope it's much less than it is now. The biggest way to do that, to get there, is to increase vaccinations and social distancing.
The health department says the best way to reduce spread is by getting vaccinated, which is what was happening today at Freeman Health System in Joplin. The hospital hosted a back-to-school vaccine clinic. Kids aged 12 and up who were accompanied by a parent could come through and get a shot.
In the area that I work in, we see COVID all day, every day, and we're seeing the numbers really increase. And since they made it so the kids could get the shots, they've decreased the age, then I decided to get them vaccinated.
Second doses of the vaccine will be given out on August 11th. Doug Heddy, it was hot today, pretty pleasant tonight though.
It was. The humidity started to creep up a little bit for us today as well. Yesterday only into the upper 70s. Today up to 87, still just a little bit shy of our average high of 90 degrees. Nothing's going on though, at least around our neck of the woods. We have pretty much clear skies. Had a few dying little showers out across central Kansas. Those won't affect us. But our next little wave out across southern parts of Utah, that will affect us here in about 48 hours. Our chances for showers and thunderstorms will really start to increase. But at least for us tonight, we look pretty good. We'll have a few random clouds kind of sneaking through. We'll drop back into the upper 60s for overnight lows. About 80 by 10, 86 by noon, and a little bit hotter tomorrow. I think most of us will go up to about 91 degrees as we go into the afternoon hours with the humidity. Of course, we're going to break down rain chances here in just a bit.
See you then. A new hardware store and jobs are coming to Frontenac, Kansas. The Harbor Freight Tools chain says it expects to open a store at 1007 North Highway 69 late this summer. It's not given an official date. Construction is already underway. The company says the store will bring 25 to 30 new jobs. Harbor Freight currently has more than 1,200 stores nationwide. One of two people injured when a motorcycle hit a deer in southwest Missouri has died of her injuries. That crash happened Sunday evening on Gum Road north of Reeds, Missouri. Authorities say a passenger on that motorcycle, 26-year-old Taylor Bass of Reeds, has died. At last report, the motorcycle driver, 29-year-old Isaac Freeland of Reeds, was in serious condition. Still ahead, dozens of Texas lawmakers leave the state and skip a vote as they head to D.C. to demand Congress take action to prevent restrictive voting measures. And thousands of Cubans take to the streets to protest worsening economic conditions. President Biden says every American adult has a right to vote, and he's vowing to protect that right. Skylar Henry reports from the White House.
President Biden denounced Republican-led efforts to rewrite state voting laws as a coordinated attack on democracy.
This is simple. This is election subversion. It's the most dangerous threat to voting and the integrity of free and fair elections in our history.
Since last year, 17 states have enacted a total of 28 laws affecting voting rights in elections.
They want to make it so hard and inconvenient that they hope people don't vote at all.
A group of Texas Democrats made the rounds in Washington Tuesday and met with Vice President Kamala Harris.
Defending the right of the American people to vote is as American as apple pie.
For the second time this year, the lawmakers fled Texas to prevent the GOP from passing a restrictive election law.
The motion fails for lack of quorum.
The measure would scale back mail-in voting while granting new rights to poll watchers. It would also criminalize drive-through voting and other methods of expanding ballot access. Republican Governor Greg Abbott said their tactics won't work forever.
I will be calling special session after special session after special session all the way up until Election Day of next year if I have to.
Governor Abbott has threatened to arrest the Democrats when they return to Texas. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
Major League Baseball's All-Star game in Denver tonight was originally supposed to be in Atlanta, but was moved after Georgia passed a new voting law in March. The cost of living in the U.S. rose in June. According to the Labor Department, consumer prices increased nearly 8% last month, and prices are up 5.4% since last year. Different factors are driving rising inflation, including supply chain issues, which are pushing up the cost of new and used vehicles. And as the world continues to reopen, demand for dining out and travel is also triggering higher prices. Carnival Cruise Line announces that unvaccinated passengers sailing from Florida home ports will be required to have travel insurance. Passengers will also have to pay an extra $150 for COVID-19 testing. All this is in response to the Florida law, which took effect on July 1st. That law says companies $5,000, they must pay $5,000 if they require passengers to show proof of vaccination. The travel insurance policy is only for Florida-based ships and does not go into effect until July 31st. The insurance requirement does not apply to children. President Biden is expressing support for demonstrators in Cuba after thousands of people took to the streets in one of the country's biggest protests in decades. They're angry over the worsening economic crisis on the island. Dozens of people have reportedly been arrested in the protests, including journalists. This comes as the Biden administration reviews its policy toward the communist nation, including whether to ease or maintain economic sanctions. A deadly fire swept through a hospital in Iraq, killing patients being treated for the coronavirus. At least 92 people died and more than 100 are injured. Authorities say an oxygen canister exploded, sparking the fire that trapped COVID patients in the hospital, which medics say didn't even have a fire alarm. This is the second time it's happened in Iraq. 3 months ago, an oxygen tank blew up in the COVID ward of a hospital in Baghdad, killing 82 people. Later, thousands of people are forced from their homes as dozens of wildfires burn in 7 western states.
Also, thunderstorm chances are going to start to increase over the next few days. We're going to look at that coming up. It turned out to be a much warmer day for us today. Temperatures, they warmed up into the upper 80s for highs after we had 2 days that we were into the 70s. Sunday and Monday actually felt fantastic across the region. 80s again today. We have mostly sunny skies. Great time lapse. This is Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. All right, look at our temps though. Significantly warmer today. We were 77 and then we went all the way into the upper 80s during the afternoon hours for us today. And temps right now, they're still fairly warm. Most of us 75 to roughly 80 degrees, and our humidity has kind of creeped back up a little bit over the past couple nights. In the summer months, you really would love to have dew points kind of in that 55 to 60 degree range. These are kind of in that 65 to 70, so that kind of puts us on our scale in that sticky to muggy range, and that's where we're going to sit the next couple days. Looks good. Here's 7th and range line, currently outside 79. We have heat index of 81, pressures slowly rising, but nothing's really going on here. Anything you see on the radar, there's all ground clutter popping up. So we are clear. We're getting a few random little clouds for some leftover thunderstorms out across central Kansas, but in general, we look pretty good. All right, here's our next little wave. You can see it across southern parts of Utah. This is going to sweep out. This is going to give us chances for showers and thunderstorms by late Thursday, but until then, I think we look okay. All right, for us tonight, 68 to about 70 for an overnight low. Partly to mostly sunny skies for us tomorrow, but it is going to heat up a little bit more. We're going to start at 68, 86 by noon, high temp right around 91 as we go into the afternoon hours. But we are going to stay dry. Tomorrow night looks pretty good, partly cloudy skies, and then let's go into Thursday. Now, most of Thursday is going to be dry. Really, I think really the entire day is going to be dry, but we'll start to get some thunderstorms by Thursday evening in our northwestern counties. These will increase through the evening hours and then continue to increase Thursday night into Friday morning. Some of these could be strong, maybe even low-grade severe, but I think the main threat here is going to be really heavy amounts of rain with this band of showers and thunderstorms. You can see the band continues to work through. So here's Friday morning. So we're going to start the day on Friday on the wet side, showers and thunderstorms, and then we'll dry out as we go through the day. However, by the time we head into the afternoon, chances for showers and thunderstorms again will start to pop up across the region. And then again, Friday night into Saturday morning. This is really going to be the trend as we go through the weekend into early next week. We're going to have afternoon and evening thunderstorms. We'll get a break and then more will pop in as we go through the following days. So we could pick up quite a bit of rain as we go through the weekend. I think a lot of areas could get 1, 2, maybe 3, maybe even some isolated 4-inch amounts, which isn't something we really need, but we've kind of dried out a bit over the past couple days. 91 tomorrow, 91 Thursday, 87 Friday. We kind of hang out into the upper 80s as we go through the weekend, but those thunderstorm chances really increase Thursday night.
Yeah, we don't need any more rain at the moment.
No.
We're going to wish that we had more rain probably in about a month or so.
Right, that is very true.
Thanks, Todd. Dozens of wildfires are burning out west, and now there's a new concern. Lalila Luciano reports from Ahwahnee, Oklahoma.
The river fire is one of nearly 60 burning in 7 western states. It's threatening a major highway that leads into Yosemite National Park in California.
This fire is picking up very fast. The wind is changing direction. As you can see, the crews are trying to stop the flames from jumping over.
It has doubled in size since Sunday as firefighters work in challenging conditions, including triple-digit temperatures on Monday.
We're dealing with the 3rd back-to-back heat wave. What has that been like?
Deadly. It's freaking hot, especially when you're working outside.
The heat is easing, but there's a possibility of flash flooding and mudslides in several states where areas have burned. The largest wildfire is in Oregon, the Bootleg Fire, which had threatened California's power grid. And then there's the Beckworth Complex fire north of Lake Tahoe, which forced firefighters to run for cover. It's California's largest fire so far this year. 2020 was the state's worst ever fire season, but this year could be even more devastating. Lilia Luciano, CBS News, Ahwahnee, California.
Fires have forced thousands of people to evacuate. Sam's Club is trying out a new feature that lets customers scan and ship bulky items. The discount chain will allow customers to scan big ticket purchases like mattresses and widescreen TVs and have them shipped home. Delivery time is expected to take 3 to 5 business days. Coming up in sports, the Joplin Outlaws aim for revenge against the Nevada Griffins. We're going to catch up with a former Southeast Kansas standout to talk about his unique basketball journey after high school. Jacob Leonard has that and more next.
The Joplin Outlaws are off to a bit of a slow start to the second half of the season. The Outlaws are 1-3 since the All-Star break, including a 4-0 shutout loss to the Nevada Griffins last night. Now tonight, Joplin facing Nevada again, this time at Nevada. And that one is final. Griffins win again 4-3. Nevada is now 7-0 in league play against Joplin this summer. Kansas City Royals catcher Salvador Perez put on quite a show and made a little history in the MLB Home Run Derby last night. Now, he did not win, but he did hit 28 homers in the first round. It's the most home runs for a catcher in the history of the Home Run Derby. That was a good night for Salvi, but in the end, it was the Mets' Pete Alonso taking the title. Alonso hit 74 total homers last night, capturing his second straight Home Run Derby championship.
I feel like I used pretty much the entire field. I mean, I was just focused on being locked in on hitting the sweet spot of the bat, and the balls just went wherever they went. I feel like my timing was consistent, my tempo was great, and my effort level was outstanding, and I was able to stay consistent and really kind of dominate.
Well, the MLB All-Star Game is tonight in Denver. Just went final. American League wins it 5-2. The 2 Cardinals and 2 Royals played in the game tonight. Cards pitcher Alex Reyes picked up a strikeout in 2/3 of an inning on the mound for the National League. Former Pittsburgh standout Marquis English has had a unique basketball journey after high school. He's played 3 different places in 3 years and still has 3 more years of eligibility. We caught up with English today to talk about his journey and what's next for the former 5A Player of the Year. Marquis English is headed back to Butler County.
That home environment, being able to play basketball and do what I love to do, I just think it was the best move for me to go back to Butler. I was there for a year previously, and we went to the conference championship, and just to go back there and play basketball with Coach Fisher and the guys, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. This spot is killing us.
His basketball journey has had multiple stops since graduating from Pittsburgh High in 2018. The former 5A Player of the Year signed to Linkier Prep out of high school, reclassifying to 2019. After a year, he made his first stop at Butler County in 2020 before heading to Northern Colorado, where he was able to get Division I experience.
We traveled a lot on the West Coast, Arizona, Montana, Utah. Just being able to be at that level and see everything is definitely something that was a really good experience.
English still has 3 years of eligibility, but is not thinking about what's after Butler.
Right now, I really just want to go play and go win a national tournament there at Butler, and then whatever comes from it, really, I just want to be able to play basketball.
In the meantime, he's working out in Pittsburgh, coaching, and using his experience to help younger players.
Mid-range Joey, hey, threes. I've been coaching out with Victory Ministries, and one of the things we preach to the boys is trying to get 1% better each day. Good shot, next spot. That's my main thing, is I want to be able to be a role model for them, to show them that no matter where you start at, no matter where you end at, as long as you get better 1% each day, that eventually you're going to be able to make your goals.
And the 2019-2020 season, English posted 11 points and 6 rebounds per game at Butler, starting 33 of 34 games for the Grizzlies. And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news right after the break.
Take time now to honor a local veteran. Specialist Chad Rogers served in the U.S. Army during Operation Iraqi Freedom. His hometown, Liberal, Missouri, and we are proud to salute Specialist Chad Rogers. He's tonight's 4-state hero. Young Lego fans have a chance to get their creations put on display in Fort Scott, Kansas. The Museum of Creativity is testing out a Lego club. Kids ages 10 to 18 are able to participate and build according to a theme. The top 3 builds from each week's session will be displayed in the museum.
I'm learning from them too. Like they do something and I'm like, oh, that's a really good idea. And I mean, that happens when I'm teaching crafts too. Like someone will do it a certain way and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. So I'm learning too, you know, I learn from them. We all think differently and we all create, you know, a society where we can help each other and learn and grow.
The museum is using this session as a test to gauge community interest in the Lego Club. Mattel is unveiling a Naomi Osaka role model Barbie. The doll comes with a visor, tennis racket, tennis ball, sweatband, dress shoes, doll stand. The dress she's wearing is the same one that Osaka wore at the Australian Open in 2020. 23-year-old is not just a 4-time Grand Slam tennis champion, she's an advocate for mental health awareness and social justice. If you're wanting to get your hands on the doll, well, you're going to have to wait for it. It's already out of stock online. In June, Osaka withdrew from the French Open and Wimbledon to prioritize her mental health. She's set to represent Japan at the Olympic Games in Tokyo later this month. Mattel previously partnered with Osaka for their Barbie Shiro doll in 2019. So, you say that she's one of your favorite athletes?
Yeah, I think she's fantastic on and off the court. I think she's great.
Apparently a great role model.
Get online, support her.
Evidently, it's already sold out, so I'm going to have to wait.
You're going to have to wait. You're paying attention. The weather.
Looks pretty good. We are going to heat up a little bit more the next couple days. 91 tomorrow, 91 on Thursday. Thunderstorms by Thursday night.
Final sports note.
American League All-Stars win the All-Star game today. They've dominated lately. It's their 8th consecutive win in the All-Star game.
Impressive. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here tomorrow. Let's make it a great one.